How's it going, people? Welcome back to Casual Gamer Reviews. Today I'll be looking at Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. This is a remake of the 2004 original released earlier this year, developed by Nintendo. It took me around 30 hours to complete this game, reviewed on Nintendo Switch. Gameplay. This game is in line with the RPG titles and not the platformer ones. All combat is turn-based and you fight using Mario's hammer or his jump attacks. As you go through the game, you unlock new abilities for your jump and hammer to upgrade them slightly. You also have several companions you meet along the way, each have unique combat moves to explore and play around with. I found, however, especially the party members found earlier in the game, that they become practically useless a chapter or two after finding them, as their attacks are just too weak for the latter game enemies. There's a badge system in place in this game where you can equip badges that do a whole range of things to spice up the gameplay. They include new attack moves or basic increases in stats like attack, defense and health. They can also bolster your team members' attack and defense, but that does not change my previous comment as they don't upscale enough to make it worthwhile. Badges can also come in the form of cosmetics to switch up Mario's outfits or sounds of attacks. All combat encounters are navigated by depleting health to zero, whether that be Mario's and a defeat or the enemies and a victory. Although you will not just be monitoring health when battling, but also the flower point meter and the star meter. The flower point meter is what you need to use any moves that aren't the basic hammer smash or jump. This counts for Mario and companions. The star meter is for special moves that you unlock throughout the story when gathering the stars for the Thousand Year Door. There are 7 and each star you gain through story progression gives you a new ability to explore. The flower point meter, like health, is filled by either resting, paying to refill at certain boxes, or by using items. The star meter is filled by audience reaction. Each combat encounter in the Thousand Year Door is played as if Mario and friends are on a stage doing a theatre performance. You are up on stage and there is an audience watching. Performing well in battles, i.e. hitting your opponents and blocking at the right time, leads to positive audience reaction, which helps fill your star meter each turn. Negative things like taking damage and not performing well-timed blocks will lead to audience members leaving and therefore less filling on the star meter. As you go on your star collection mission, there are additional quirky gameplay segments that come into play that I thought were super fun. There are platforming sections as Bowser, akin to that of Super Mario World. There is a mystery to solve on a train that obviously takes inspiration from Murder on the Orient Express, and there are loads of puzzles to solve using your various party member abilities. There are some quality of life changes added to this that differs from the original. These include additional save blocks and access to hints. There is also a character wheel for quick changing between your party members. They also added a pipe system for shortcuts to each area. The visuals in this game are superb by Nintendo Switch standards. It is a beautiful up-res of the 2004 original. Some particular areas that stuck out for me were the Boggly Woods and Twilight Town. Party member designs are really cool. Vivian and Bobbery are standouts in this category. Boss designs, however, were 50-50. Some are excellent, Grubber, Shadow Queen, Dupliss. Some were not, and a couple were even reused. Audio and music. The music in this game ranges from your classic Super Mario outfit to some super sick guitar riffs. The final boss has such a great soundtrack that I couldn't help but rock out. The characters are not voiced for the most part, as per usual standard for a Super Mario game, but Charles Martinet does feature as Mario in his usual grunts and woohoos. With the remake, there is also an art and sound gallery added that you can peruse at your own pleasure. Story. Peach has been kidnapped. Again. But this time not by Bowser. In fact, he is also looking for Peach. Before she gets whisked away, Peach leaves Mario with a treasure map that alludes to the collection of the 7 crystal stars to gain access to a legendary treasure. Your adventure then begins to find these crystal stars and unlock the treasure at the end whilst finding Peach along the way. It takes you through 7 areas, meeting various entertaining characters and fighting several bosses. There are also segments where you play as Peach and Bowser to experience their side of the story. It is no narrative masterpiece, but it is perfectly serviceable to what you would expect from a Mario game and also stays true to the very popular original. There's a lot of goofiness and some cringy moments, but I loved all of that. Bonus and side content. There are 2 additional endgame bosses added to this remake version of the game, and they are super tough. There is also the pit, which is 100 levels of combat to test your mettle against. In fact, one of those secret bosses relies on you doing so. Twice. Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door is a fantastic Mario experience. It reflects a beautiful upres that stays true to the original, but also making it more fun to play. Whilst there are some flaws, namely with boss design and companions seemingly being less useful over time, it is a game I would definitely recommend. Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door gets a casual gamer score of 8.5 out of 10.